This film is about a very rare Civil War firearm that is seldom talked about, although it entered service in the same year as the Model 1855 Springfield rifle musket. The Model 1855 pistol carbine was intended to be a firearm of the cavalry and the artillery troops, firing similar cartridge charged with similar bullet as the cartridge of the rifle muskets. This clumsy mule was born in a time when repeating arms and breech loaders were already accessible. Still, this was designed with the mind of the Napoleonic Wars. The US Army was always a great supporter of the mounted rifleman concept. This suited well the behavior of the people and the nature of the environment. This concept, that we can also call the dragoon concept, is very useful when you have limited force in a large area. The pistol carbine was supposed to fit this concept. This is the first chapter of the film, focusing on the cartridges of the US Model 1855 pistol carbine. The pistol carbine was adopted in 1855, but was only manufactured for 2 years at Springfield. It had a 12-inch bore with 3 grooves, with the same pitch as the rifle musket. The caliber was the same 0.58 inch. The bore was equipped with a folding rear sight, graduated to a maximum distance of 400 yards. Quite over-optimistic for such short-barreled weapon, and such heavy slow slug. The lock was 1/10 smaller than the lock of the rifle musket, and the Maynard tape priming system was also integrated in the lock plate. Due to its smaller size, it could accept only half of the normal 25 primer tape. The stock was detachable. The arm was intended to be used as a pistol on horseback and as a carbine when dismounted. This carbine was born in the time when revolvers, percussion breech loaders and metallic cartridge breech loaders were already available, so it was in fact already obsolete on the day of adoptation. But still, it served until the end of the Civil War. By the early 50s, the US Army felt the need to follow the European trends and start experimenting with conical bullets and rifled bores. The goal was to find a solution to keep the rate of fire of the smoothbore musket while achieving the accuracy of the patch roundbore rifle. The answer to this challenge was the expanding ball. It was Gustave Delvigne in France who first discovered in 1843 that the pressure of the burning gases of the gunpowder can upset the base of the bullet into the bore, hence creating a snug mechanical fit between bullet and rifling. It was another Frenchman, Captain Claude Etienne Minié, who developed the system with an iron cup inserted into the cavity of the bullet base to aid symmetric expansion and increase accuracy. The culot, or cup, was able to expand heavily undersized bullets as well, so it was a good answer for port tolerances. The US Army started experimenting with the new system in 1853 at the Harper's Ferry Arsenal, quite late compared to Europe. Secretary of War Jefferson Davis ordered the Chief of Ordnance Colonel H.K. Craig to start experiments to find the future proper bullet and rifle for the US Army as well. It was Major Benjamin Huger, Ordnance Officer, who was responsible for the project carried out at the Harper's Ferry and Springfield arsenals. The tests covered all European systems like the Tuvenin pillar bridge system and the Minié expanding bullet system, with finally selecting the later one in 1855. The bullets for the trials were produced by acting master armorer at Harper's Ferry, James Burton. Burton provided some own designs as well for the tests, like the bullet we know today as the Williams Cleaner bullet with a T-shaped wedge in the base. Nothing seemed to work with the 54 caliber Mississippi rifles, except for a synth-skirted Minié-style bullet designed by Burton. But this bullet was nothing new. It was the same concept that Delvigne described in 1843. The only difference was its loading method. Burton's bullet was to be loaded without the paper patching of the cartridge case, while the French bullet was to be loaded with the paper wrapper still on the bullet. Experiments continued in 1854-55 to find the proper new caliber for the US rifle musket. Burton left Harper's Ferry and Lieutenant James Benton carried on the work. He perfected Burton's Minié bullet to fit better the selected 58 caliber and the 1/32 72-inch 3-groove rifling. He modified the shape of the cavity to a triangular form, so actually it was Benton who gave the final touches to the Minié design before the adoptation in 1855. Finally, 3 bullet types were adopted. A 0.685 diameter 3-groove Minié with 730 grain weight for the 69 caliber altered muskets, a 5.775-inch diameter 500 grain Minié for the rifle muskets, and a lighter 5.775 caliber 450 grain Minié for the model 1855 pistol carbine. The difference between the later two bullets was only the shape of the cavity and the base. If you wish to understand more about the adaptation of these bullets, I suggest you to read Dean S. Thomas's excellent book, Roundball to Rimfire Part 1, or follow the papercartridges.com blog or Facebook page for excellent information about early cartridges. Let me show you how easy it is to make the original Model 1855 cartridge for the Model 1855 pistol carbine. Okay, so what you will need? You will need 3 layers of paper. The inner paper is made from stiffer papers called the racket paper. It is 0.8 by 2 inches in size. This is rectangular. The wrapping sheet of the powder cylinder is a trapezoid, 1.1, 2.2 and 3 inches in size. And the outer wrapper is in fact made from the same material as the wrapper of the cylinder. It is a thinner paper. It is the same kind of trapezoid that was used for the normal rifle musket cartridge, so this is exactly the same shape and same size. We have a 4.25 inch side, and we have a short side of 2.25 and a long side of 3.5 inches. So we will start with making the powder cylinder, which will have to be stiff also, because it must stay open after we opened the tail of the cartridge. So we start placing the racket paper parallel to the short side of the cylinder wrapping paper, and we just simply roll it up with the mandrel. The mandrel itself is exactly 58 caliber. We roll it up tightly, and then we just fold in the end, and we paste it. This will keep it on place. Okay. And then we can flatten it on the table as well. And there you go. We have a nice round cylinder, powder cylinder here. This is our bullet. So the original bullet of this cartridge was a lighter bullet than the normal 500 grain bullet of the rifle musket cartridge. It was only 450 grains. The size of the bullet and the diameter let's say the outer shape of the bullet was the same, but the cavity had a different shape. It was a thinner cavity than in case of the normal Minié bullet. The lubrication on the bullet was made from 1 part of beeswax and 3 parts of tallow, and the bullets were deep lubed into the molten mix of this lubrication. So we start now rolling up the cartridge. We place the bullet and the mandrel parallel to the bottom of the cartridge paper wrapper, and we leave approximately ½ an inch distance above the tip of the bullet, and we roll it up firmly. Okay, now we will choke the end of the cartridge using the choking string like that, and we will just simply tie it. We will cut what we will not need, like that, and we will carefully remove the mandrel. The powder charge of the cartridge was also lighter than in case of the rifle musket cartridge. It was only 40 grains instead of the 60 grains of powder. Now we charge the powder, and then we just simply flatten the cartridge to fold the tail just above the mouth of the powder cylinder. We make a small channel like this. We fold one side in, we fold the other side in. You can see how now nice the shape of the cartridge is at the bottom. And we fold it back twice. Now we have a beautiful model 1855 cartridge ready for use. Now, what was the benefit of this construction? The answer is easy. It is quite easy to open because we have a weak spot on the cartridge just above the tail, just below the tail, above the mouth of the powder cylinder. So the soldier could easily, I said easily, open the case, and you can see that the stiff racket paper kept the mouth of the case now open, which means it is very easy to pour the powder into your bore. It's a clever construction from that point. Now, the second weak point of this cartridge is just between the bullet and the powder cylinder. Here you can just break it down, throw it away, and you just, using your thumb and your trigger finger, you can just push the bullet out from the wrapping and insert it into your bore. That's how easy it is. Clever, but a bit complicated compared to the later cartridge designs. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, and most of all subscribe. Please visit us on patreon.com/capandball for exclusive content, and join the History of Weapons and War platform for contents from educational historical gun creators. Until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.